So Chattanooga's defensive tackle Marlin Taylor says he's sick of hearing Rocky Top play. And if the game goes anything like it did for them when they played Alabama a year ago where they lost 66-10, they're going to get sick of it pretty quickly. How Tennessee's up-tempo offense is going to keep those Mocs on their heels for Game 1 of the 2024 season. I'm Paige Dower. This is The Field Pass. Now, Marlin Taylor, someone we highlighted earlier in the week, but to reiterate, he's tabbed to win the Southern Conference Defensive Player of the Year. And as much as he says he doesn't like the playing of Rocky Top, he's almost as equally as excited to play in a venue that plays Rocky Top quite a bit. And I guess who could blame him? One, you just look at the simple scale of Neyland Stadium with 100,000+ fans that fill it, and then the eyes and attention that a Tennessee football team has been getting as of recently. It's a good place to showcase your talent, and that's exactly what he wants to do. And he does have a bit of talent, and he showcased that specifically a year ago. He started all 13 of the games for Chattanooga. He registered 30 tackles, 9 were for loss, 5.5 sacks, and a fumble recovery. So definitely able to cause damage in the FCS and in the Southern Conference. Will he be able to do that against the Tennessee offense and specifically the offensive line? That I'm not as confident about, but seeing the stats from a year ago, listening to his press conference, I also just had to go look at his roster, like how big is this guy? He says he comes in at 6'2", 317 pounds, which is on the smaller end for Tennessee's offensive line, though they are about 6'4", 6'5", 330-ish pounds is what I was finding the average for the offensive line to be. So how often will a double team happen? I'm not sure. And I bring up double team because he says he loves to get double teamed. He takes it as a massive compliment when he gets double teamed. Of course he would. And he says it's rare that he doesn't get that double team. I'm not sure how often he's going to see that against the Tennessee offensive line unless there's a specific run design play that, Josh Heupel and Joey Halzle draw up. So that is someone I'm definitely keeping an eye on just to kind of see how that goes. And of course, when you're that loud in a press conference, it's going to get you some attention. And one other player for Tennessee that I think is going to have a lot of attention and has had a ton of attention since his high school days now here at Tennessee is Nico Iamaleava, who we've heard nothing but great things since the Citrus Bowl. And the main thing that we can take away from the Citrus Bowl, maybe why it wasn't sound like air raid offense, he never put the ball in harm's way. And that's the biggest compliment, right? If we're talking about compliments that you can give Nico. While he wanted more explosive plays, wanted more of, those deep balls, that didn't happen, but he also didn't put the ball in harm's way, and I think that showed a lot of his intellect and his maturity and his vision to, not try and thread the ball deep downfield to maybe potentially get a deep pass to Ramel Keaton or Squirrel White. Instead, those were times where maybe it was, kind of those RPOs, QB keeper type moments where, all right, let's just see what you can do with your legs. He did do damage, getting a couple of rushing touchdowns against Iowa, so that's something that I need to see take the next step, especially in this first game. It kind of is like that tune-up for Oklahoma. You never want to look past your opponent, but this is definitely a chance. Have confidence in your studies, have confidence in the connections you've made with the receivers and backs that will allow you to get those big plays. We need to see those big plays in this game. Open up the playbook just a little bit more. I think it'll be really important to see Nico air the ball out 2 or 3 times to at least solidify those connections a bit more before they move on to SEC play and maybe even against NC State, who of course they'll see next. And kind of what I've noticed from Josh Heupel and how they orchestrate the offense when Nico's in play is it kind of has been safe. It's been reliant on the run game or, a quick pass in the flat. I think it'll be really important in this game, specifically in the first half, because hopefully we don't see much of him in the second half, indicating that there's a big and sizable and expected lead over Chattanooga. I think it is very important to have, 2-3 big 20+ yard plays from Nico to his wide receivers. It's like getting a brand new car. You can't redline it right away. You got to get a little bit of miles on it before you do rev it, before you do redline it. And I think those games where you are going to have to maybe redline it are going to be your Oklahomas, your Alabamas, your Florida. So you need a couple of games for your tune-up to put a couple of miles in there, test the waters, see how good those connections really are. I think we really need to see that to continue to have confidence in this team and, build conversation and notoriety around this Nico-led 2024 team. Now on the defensive side for Tennessee, we've talked at length on full disclosure about the secondary, but I really want us to zero in on the linebackers and what we could expect. New linebackers coach William Inge says we can expect a very active, very aggressive linebacker unit.
Someone who will be making all kind of plays and everyone will know where number 11 is on the football field. That's kind of our vision that we want to create in him. And the one thing that allows us to be able to do that is that's what he's shown thus far, and he's got the capabilities of being able to do that. And it's our responsibility to push him to where he can be one of the best linebackers in the country, and he can be that and do that for sure.
And of course, at any position on defense, tackling is key. It's a top priority for every single player on defense, but especially true for the linebacker crew, which since coming to Tennessee, Coach William Inge has made that a top priority. Anytime they're in shells or pads, they simulate some type of tackling or learning how to have the right form, working on your body position, your footwork, your pad level, and it continues to be a top priority. And through fall camp and practice, it's really something that he's put a top priority on and something that they've really focused on and are trying to simulate to get them ready for game day.
Yeah, from a scrimmage standpoint, yes. And one thing that we try to do is to make sure that we always, as well, take care of our football team. And that's where we've really seen, I think, a lot of growth and maturity happen on our football team, how everybody's taking care of each other. And when you have a chance to make your tackle, it's literally the one shot, one kill mentality, to where you're making your tackle, you're doing what you're supposed to do, and you're making the play you're supposed to make when you're at the point of attack.
And I know we joked the other day about the 30-plus oars that are on the depth chart. Everyone from James Pierce Jr. to Dylan Sampson has an oar after them. But I also think it highlights, one, just the depth that they have on the team, but also reinforces that they're going to be rotating. They're going to go deep into the bench to get their guys on the field and active. And I think one guy that we're going to see a lot from and who we've heard a lot from spring camp to now is freshman Edwin Spillman, who is continuing to trend in the right direction and make those same type of plays in practice.
Edwin is definitely progressing very well. He is someone, when you talk about being able to stuff and stop the run, that his body type fits exactly just that. He does not get moved when he's in there fitting. As a player who's learning and growing, it's great to see the things that he does on special teams. So he is someone, he has a great role in our room, and it's awesome to see him learning every day. It's actually special to see him coming on with his smile and he's learning. And when you have Keenan Pidley and Arian Carter putting you up under their wing, you can only go up. So it's great seeing him continue to excel.
And before you all go into the weekend, one more thing I want you all to know about. The Kim Caldwell era, it's in full swing for the Lady Vols basketball program. Since her introductory press conference in April where she talked about the up-tempo offense, pressure defense, it's been in full swing and has been implemented right away with the Lady Vols basketball program. The other day they had an open practice where media were able to see about 20 minutes of their practice. And from what I noticed is it's definitely run. And if you don't think they're running enough, they're running enough. They are running a ton. And if you have an idea of how much they're running, maybe just add a couple more up and downs and sprints that they're doing. Because what I was able to see is they would run, a couple of sets, work on a couple of skills, and then it was up and downs. They'd do that again, up and down. Do it again, up and down. So they are really working on their conditioning, because to have that up-pace, up-tempo offense, you have to be incredibly fit, whether it's in transition, fast breaks, or just maintaining the movement on offense. That has been a cornerstone to what she's been trying to implement since April.
I think they have embraced it incredibly well. I think they like it. I think they're having fun. And that's just part of it. You just come with a new system and you just teach it rep over and over and over. And I was telling our staff the other day, I said, I promise you the mistakes we're making now, they want to run back on defense. We will never be able, into just January, we will never be able to get them to run back. If we want to call our press off, we'll never be able to do it. And so it just takes time.
And what I found to be the greatest challenge that Caldwell has implemented or given to the team is not being comfortable. She says when they've met a standard, she raises the bar once more, reinforcing that she wants practice to always be tougher than games, which continues to challenge the teams in ways that they haven't been before.
I think their fitness and their mindset has gotten the biggest growth, and then everything else will take care of itself once you have that. Yeah, they're learning a lot. They're learning how to play offense completely differently and defense completely differently.
And the system that Kim Caldwell is implementing will also look positionless. That meaning she's going to go 10, 11 players deep every single game, which we really haven't seen from a Lady Vol program in a while. With that comes the challenge of making sure that everyone really understands the defense that they have in place, understands the offensive concepts that they have. And it's been a tough challenge. She says there's still a lot of learning to go, a lot of work that they want to do. They've had to, maybe sacrifice time spent on learning new skills to spend more time in the film room, because it seems to be like it's going to be a very sophisticated offense or system that she is hoping to implement and show everyone come that November slate in the 2024-2025 season. So as fall wears on, we'll continue to talk about the Lady Vol and Vol basketball programs. A lot of excitement coming out of both of those camps, but most importantly, we've got Tennessee football on Saturday. We'll hear from myself and Jimmy, immediately following the game for a quick post-game recap. We'll also have a recap on Sunday to dive deeper into what was going on in that game. And then also, if you are West High School football fans listening to this podcast, I also want to mention that I call the games from the booth, and it's for Jack FM Radio 93.4 is where you can find us. They play tonight against Clinton at 7, so I'll be in the booth calling that game. But there's just so much stuff that we're doing here at Full Disclosure and just around town, from Jack FM to Sports Animal and then with 5-Star Prep. So definitely make sure that you're subscribing, following me on Twitter at Paige Dower FDP, just to stay up to date with all the things that we're doing. But thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, please like, and continue to engage with the content. I'll talk to you guys on Saturday.